We are now going to be interviewing our friend Justin Lohman.
Yay.
Our
Welcome, Justin.
correspondent from Canberra. Good morning to you, Justin. It's good to have you here with us, mate.
We get so excited about this time.
Hey,
this
Justin,
is our favorite time
question
of the week.
for you. You're a correspondent from Canberra. We people from Faith FM are asking if you'd like to be our correspondent from Iran, because apparently there's some actions there. Are you up for the job?
I have travelled a lot in my life, but I have no intention of visiting Iran. There's a lot of cool stuff there I'd like to see.
Yeah, the Tomb of Daniel. I mean, it would be amazing to see
Cyrus's tomb.
Really?
Yeah.
The Behistun inscription. All sorts of significant archaeology. Lots of history there. Wow.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, not so much.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there you go. Well, we'll see if someone else will be willing to get for the job. But we have to
I
ask.
do know some guys that might work like within 50 metres of you that have been there.
Oh, okay.
Went
yes.
there on my behalf and filmed the Kingdom Come trilogy. They filmed it on site in Iran.
Yes, the
okay.
Kingdom Come trilogy, which is actually an absolute hit. It went viral. I think that it was watched by millions and millions of people. It was like a great documentary on how the prophecies of the book of Daniel have been fulfilled.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, Justin,
those guys have been there.
there you go.
So
Tell
good.
us a little bit about what's going on in Iran, because what I've been seeing is that President Trump mentioned about asked everybody to watch an announcement by Mark Levin, a guy a commentator from Fox News, and Mark Levin says that he believes the United States should send ground troops to the heart of Iran so that they can seize the nuclear material that they have there, the enriched uranium. Are we seeing a repeat of Iraq and Afghanistan? What's going to happen there? What do you think is going to happen?
Mark Levin is he worked in the Reagan administration. He's very aligned with Israel. He is Jewish, and the Israelis have a different view to the rest of the world when it comes to what to do with Iran. And within Trump's base, there's a huge division over this war. I'm not sure how this is going to pan out for Trump, because that wing of the Republican Party, Mark Levin, is not really the MAGA base. The MAGA base don't want troops on the ground, and Trump's own base don't want troops on the ground. I think it will be very limited. There's just 3,500 more troops arrive over there. The 82nd Airborne is ready to go. They parachute in. There seems like there's going to be some troops on the ground. I don't know. I have no idea what that's going to look like, but there's a few options they have.
And particularly with the midterm elections approaching as well, everything is so, everything can change. I mean, if it can, do you think that this can hurt Trump's support and his supremacy at the Senate and the House of Representatives level?
Yeah, look, I don't know. Look, it was going to be close anyway. Usually sitting presidents, their party will lose seats in the midterms. And the Senate and all these things are so close over there. Now all this has gone down. I guess 24 hours is a long time. How they recover before we get to the November election, who knows what's going to happen in that time. But the inflation that's going to come as a result of the cost of fuel is going to be quite profound. It will be up to Biden level inflation if this continues.
It's interesting. And Justin, I saw some news as well over the weekend that Iran would have been recruiting up to 1 million people to join the ranks and to prepare for the war. So they're getting like a mass conscription campaign. But what the detail that really stood out to me is that they're they're calling soldiers as young as 12 years old. That's the minimum age to become a soldier now in Iran. 12 years of age, and there are reports of these teenagers, 12, 13-year-old boys, doing police rounds in the streets of Iranian cities. Have you seen anything on that area?
Yeah, you remember that there's that really hardcore group of Islamists within the country that are not the majority. And it is that hardcore group of devotees to their Sharia Islam that they're going to be calling on. But if you're getting 12-year-old kids involved in your military, that reeks of desperation.
Yeah, that's true.
That reeks of desperation.
Yeah, it's very true. And to talk to us a little bit about what happened, because during last week, everybody was talking about a gift that Donald Trump said that he's negotiating with some leadership in Iran, but then Iran is saying, no, we're not negotiating. This is all fake news. He's talking to himself. What was that saga all about?
Oh, well, they allowed 10 ships to pass through the Strait of Hormuz with oil. It ended up they gave 2 extra. There does seem to be a negotiation going on in Pakistan between Iran and Trump's cabinet. But the latest is Trump's side saying that they're just talking and they're not really coming through. They were negotiating before the war. I'm not sure that people that have the world view that leadership group have had there are people you can really negotiate and just do a deal. Trump thinks he can do a deal with everyone. These guys, their ideology is not going to allow them to do what he thinks they should do. So I think that's his big miscalculation in my mind, that he could just negotiate a deal with these hardliners.
Yes.
He may prove me wrong, but I wouldn't have thought that's going to be possible.
Because these guys are not just moved by money or power. There's a perverse theology underpinning all of that, isn't it?
Well, they have a very apocalyptic view of their role at the end of time, that the whole world goes to custard, and they're going to have their 12th imam come up, this little kid that hasn't been seen for 1,000 years or something. It's quite extreme, and their role in that would set them up for taking everyone down with them. This is not an easy regime to negotiate with.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
just do a deal. That's not how it works.
Yeah, absolutely. And Justin, coming back here to our home front, Australia has sent a few assets over to the Middle East. We heard about our Eagle aircraft, the one that does the airspace surveillance, like one of the most high-tech advanced aircrafts now in the Royal Air Force. What else have we been doing to, because at least apparently Donald Trump kind of pulled the ear of Australia, right? Says, hey, I'm kind of surprised that Australia is not helping us, to monitor and to police the Strait of Hormuz. What's our involvement in that war so far?
Well, we haven't been, according to our government, we were never officially asked. So Trump has had a real bender with NATO, to the point that he sort of talks about we've left NATO. Australia doesn't want to lose America as an ally, or we're a little vulnerable. We need America. And so we usually play ball when they ask. When they say jump, we say how high. But the claim from our government is we weren't officially asked, and that we would consider it. But we can't put fuel in our ship, mate. So, we can't get it over there.
That would be a bit of an unfortunate thing. And I've seen one thing as well that I found quite interesting. Remember, like in the war of Ukraine and Russia, how there were some episodes where Russia just left some of their most expensive aircraft just out in the open, and the Ukrainians found a way to send in drones and to destroy these extremely strategic and expensive aircrafts.
Yeah, the bombers.
The bombers. It appears that Iran has done exactly the same thing to U.S. bombers and air resupply, refuel aircrafts like the KC-130s. Have you seen the pictures of that?
Yeah, and I'm always skeptical with all these pictures because they're
Can
with
be
AI.
Yeah.
They've made the aircraft carrier look like it's been hit and on fire. The thing that's telling to me is the Americans sent one aircraft carrier back for repairs. So
Yeah, what's the story of that aircraft carrier? Because that's the Gerald Ford, isn't it? Like the jewel of the crown of the U.S.
big
Navy.
one. Yeah, we won't really know for a while yet because it's all, the first casualty in war is the truth.
Yeah.
So that it's all propaganda from every side. But the fact that it went home when it did, and the Americans said there was a fire on board in the galley or something like that, it was an accidental fire. I think something's happened. A drone has been able to get through or something, but we're not officially told. But we know they have come under severe drone attack. The Americans have admitted that. So I wouldn't doubt that they've been able to take out some of their bombers, the refueling aircraft. I would believe that. One big thing to look at too, in a couple of hours, the National Cabinet, all the state premiers are going to meet with the Prime Minister, and they're going to talk about plans for keeping the fuel supply going in Australia. This is going to be very, very interesting. People are feeling a little COVID-like with a possible lockdown or restrictions on movement and all sorts of things that could be introduced. We're going to find out later today.
Okay, so what has been happening like in the last week or so? What have we learned? Because I have been looking on the stats about the fuel reserves that we have, and they don't appear to have been going down. It means like we're not using them, or we're just getting more than enough petrol for the time being in diesel.
Everyone's prediction and the government's own statement is we've got a fuel shortage by mid-April.
Okay.
Because the ships and, it's a 30-day lag before it cuts in for us. There is going to be a shortage. New Zealand has already gone. They've got 5 levels that they'll go through that they've published, and they're in level 2, I think, today, of restrictions. They have 18 days worth of diesel, apparently. They have a lot more petrol. We have, it will debate on who you listen to, but we've probably only got about 20 days of diesel. So diesel is our big concern in this country because that's how everything functions.
Yeah.
All the shops will still keep working because trucks will get there. So diesel's the thing that everyone's running out of in these servos. There was up to 500 servos this week that in one day that didn't have diesel. The government is saying people are hoarding it. People have jerry cans and they're buying more than normal. That's why we're running out. But I don't think it's until after Easter, mid-April, where we're going to find out exactly how this shortage impacts us. And there's a lot of calls for them to put on restrictions now, just in case we have a real shortage in a few weeks' time.
I understand. So, what kind of measures can we can we expect to see from the National Cabinet? So, can they ask people to stay at home and work from home, or cap, how much diesel or petrol they can buy? What can we expect, do you think?
Well, they released a document from the previous government saying we'll restrict people to $40 purchases. Now, the price of diesel, you couldn't even get back home from the supermarket. So, $40 is like what was $10.
10
once.
liter,
So,
15 liters.
that's not realistic, but they could do a cap on $100 or something. They are already asking people to work from home if that's possible. A lot of state governments are giving free public transport. Victoria's just announced that they're going to do free public transport. Doesn't help you in the country where we're really struggling with the diesel thing. But New South Wales are not doing that. They're being a little more fiscally responsible. I wish Victoria would learn that. But that's the sort of things we could expect. They could actually, if you can remember COVID, that you were not allowed to leave, your area, you were to work from home. We could see similar things with the use of fuel.
Yeah, 5K
Let's
radius
hope we
back in
don't.
Melbourne. That was a rough time.
At least you can go out without a mask now.
That's right. And you can exercise, because to me, like the worst of the COVID era was just like, you cannot even leave your home to exercise in fresh air. It's like, come on now.
Everyone buys
How am I
crazy.
supposed to stay healthy here? Justin, okay, thank you so much for today. What is the prayer that we can pray for our world this week?
Oh, wow. You think of the loss of life that's happening in Ukraine and Russia. We can't forget that terrible conflict.
Yeah.
Thousands are being killed every week there. And then now, how many people are being killed from these bombings and strikes that are happening there in the Middle East? Terrible things going on. And the whole time in the background, the world economy is looking very, very shaky. Very shaky.
So praying for all this loss of lives to stop happening. Now, more importantly, as you always mention, praying for the outpouring of the Holy Spirit and the preaching of the gospel in these difficult times.